Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Okay, and then I'll upload the TOC. Okay, I click on add file and I uploaded a TOC, which we were looking on. Sorry, and then okay, and then here you see that it asks you for, do you want to enable bucket versioning? Sorry. So if you enable it, it will keep track of the same file, for example, and there are a lot of other stuffs which we'll talk about, but that's let it be for now. Okay. And this is a new UI which you see. They just made a change into the bucket UI. So this is a new UI. And you see that default encryption has been completely disabled. Object lock has been disabled. Versioning is disabled. So versioning is being disabled. If you enable the versioning, what will happen is, like, if you wanted to, okay, let me show you what will happen if versioning has been enabled. So I have this document over here. Cloud security VAPT Sony dot docs. And if I enable a versioning, that hey, enables bucket versioning, click on that and wait for some period of time. And if versioning has been enabled, if you have uploaded a similar file multiple times, versioning will keep a track of the files by the version, that what was the first file you uploaded, and then what was the second file you uploaded, what was the similar third file you uploaded. Okay, and what was the changes which has been there. So it keeps track of your objects which you upload. Okay, so let's suppose this, I have a cloud security Sony.docs I've uploaded, and if I click on add files again and I uploaded a similar name file again. Okay, um, and the same file has been uploaded 2 times. Okay, if you see the versioning of that, you'll see that it's been okay, I have not uploaded it yet. So let's say I have once I have this file, and let me click on upload. Forget about the other settings, we'll talk about that, let it be. We'll talk about this later on. And then once it's been done, you can add a tags to the object, but that's okay. I don't want to add metadata as well. So click on upload. Okay, let the other settings be what it seems to be. Click on upload button. And once the upload button has been clicked, you would see that your file has been uploaded. Okay, and to see that file, you will see it on summary as well. But objects can be seen on the objects tab too. Okay, so on the objects tab, I did get uploaded first. It's quite. Hey, I hope now we won't face the same issue. So it's been, and I think everyone is back. Okay, so yeah, so we were talking about uploading and creating a bucket. So we did create a bucket when we did uploaded something into that, and that something is a doc file, or it can be it is a stock file which we have over here. We can have a text file. You can upload anything you want. If you want a folder to be created and then you wanted to upload something, you can do that as well. Create a folder, and then inside that folder you can upload your files. All the files, as I said, will be called as object into an S3, and we do that. Okay, so we have a file, okay, cloud security VAPT, which is a doc file. Okay, and then we have, which is inside a Sony Demo 2 bucket. Okay, so let's click on the object which we have just downloaded, or sorry, which we have just uploaded, and let's click that. Okay, wait for a moment. So when you click it, it will open the next page, and it will give you a link that if you wanted to access it, there will be options that from where you can access this objects. You will have two options. So it's still loading now. So it has a two option. One option will be on the top, which says that this you can upload it by clicking the open button, or sorry, and then there will be a link, object URL link on the below, that you wanted to access it. You can access it from the down. Down from the object URL. Okay, so yeah, so when we click on the top of the when you click on the top of the button open, which has been disabled for now, it will enable very soon. So if you click on the top of the button open, we'll see what happens, and then there is an object URL where it gives you a URL of the object. Remember that when we are creating the bucket, we intentionally made it not public, so the bucket is not public, and when the bucket is not public, object is not public as well. Okay, so you see that there's a URL on the below, so click on that URL and see what happens. Okay, so when you click on the URL, ideally when you click on the URL, you go from when you click on the URL, you ideally go to access the object in an anonymous way. And when you try to access the object in an anonymous way, and your um, bucket has been said that it's not going to it's not a public bucket, then what you will see the access denied error, which you can see on the screen. It's an access denied. Although I have created that, but the URL which is there in the at downside is basically a URL of you know it,
Hey viewers, our Master in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
whenever you try to access the objects from the URL is that you are trying to access it with anonymous user. Okay, that's why you see this access denied. But if I try to access it from the button on the top where it is an open button, if you remember that there was a top on the top, there was an open button. When I click on the open button and try to open it, it will open automatically. Reason behind that is when you click on the open button, it's gonna take your current user as a current user who has logged in, and it's gonna take it like current user is authorized to access this object or not. And if your current user is the one who is authorized to have an access of the object, definitely someone has created a bucket and is able to list the bucket. Then if you're able to see the objects, then if he clicks on the top of open button, he would be able to see the file. Okay, he would be able to see the file or see the content of the file. So from the top of the button, when you click open, you will be able to see it. Reason is that you are trying to access it from the current user you logged in as. Okay, so when you click on this, I'm gonna yeah, you click on the open button, and when you click on the open button on the top, as it's a doc file, you will see that pop-up coming on the screen saying that hey, do you want to download this file or save this file or open with, because that's how the browser reacts, right? Browser reacts on the top You don't see that pop-up coming up, but it's there on my screen, which says that do you want to save this file. You will see that you won't see that because it's not been shared as a screen to you. That's why you don't see that. But there's a pop-up came up on the screen saying that do you want to save the file, or do you want to let me share that screen. So you see this type of screen will come up on this on on the page. It says that do you want to save the file of cloud security or so. Um, Instead of doc file, if I would have a test file or txt file, because txt file will be able to open. So let me just, instead of this, let me just upload a text file on this. Okay, let me just upload a txt file instead of a doc. Okay, so I'll just create a txt file. I should be able to create it. So I'm just creating a file so that I will upload it over here. Okay, so there is an upload button again. I'm going to upload one more file on this. Let me just click on the upload and hold on. First, let me delete this object. I just want one object in my memory, so I'll just do that first. So I have an object and I'll say delete it. Okay, so the object has been deleted. Now what I will do is I'll try to upload a txt file. It's quite slow and irritating. Okay. Then there is an upload object. I'll upload the txt file on that. Okay, so I'll click on upload, add files, txt file. In versioning has been already enabled, so upload. So now you can see there is like I have uploaded a txt file, and there's a txt file now. If I click on the txt file again, I named as 349. I click on that. That will again bring me to the same path. Similar way, you can open it um, by clicking the URL. And when you click the URL, it will be, yeah, you're trying to access it through URL. So it will say you access denied. But when you try to click on the top of the open button on the top, if it's an open button on the top and you click on that, if you click on that, it will open into a next tab, and you will see hello from 349 test, right? This is a text file, so we are able to see that part. Okay, but you see that on while it's trying to access, it has taken my session token, Amazon session token, in order to verify that I'm the current user who have an access of this or not. Okay, so this token has been exchanged. So when you click on the open button, it actually takes your current session and access and allows you to access the file or not on the basis of your logged in user. Okay, on the top of open. But when you try to click the or access the object from the URL, it will take you as an anonymous and try to access the file. And as in the bucket, sorry, as in the bucket, you have seen that I made that bucket, I make that bucket not public, and as a result, this file has not been, it's uh, people are not able to access it. Okay, so what happens? Let's say come back to this, and we will talk about. Let's go back to our bucket, and we were talking about.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Versioning of the bucket, right? We were talking about if we have a versioning enabled, okay, and if it's there, then what happens if the versioning has been enabled, and you have, and as I said, that it keeps a track of every file, even of a similar file. If you have uploaded multiple times, it will keep a track of that, and and if it's been enabled in your bucket, it will give you the older file as well, and what was the content on your old file. So if you have a 349.txt, and if you see the list version over here, you would see that on list version, you see that there was a cloud security VPT Sony.docs was there, and then there was a delete marker. That means the file got deleted, and then the new file has been created, which was this. Okay, and then if you upload, click on upload, and if you click on upload, it will and upload the same file, like you have 349.txt over here. And if you click upload, and suppose you made changes to 349.txt in your local and you upload it again, so it will keep track that what was the first file you created, and then what was the second file you created, what is the new version of the file, and what was the change on the old file, and what was the change on the new file. That is what versioning can do, and versioning will be helpful for. Okay, by default, it's off. When you create a bucket, if you make a versioning enabled, you will be able to see the versions of your file. Okay, it keeps the track of it. So let me just turn it off for now. Okay, and then this is how you create bucket. This is how you upload objects to it, and it's how people, from the application, they put objects into it by using coding. Like they used to write codes, and from the help of codes, they used to upload files, objects, files or objects into the S3 bucket. And whenever they wanted to work around on the files or objects, they first have to create a bucket. Bucket name has to be unique. Okay, so the time when we create a bucket, we intentionally made that um, we make that we block the access of all public access has been blocked. But there can be a challenge that where, let's say that your developers are creating a web application, and web application is storing the images of users into S3 bucket. So definitely when web application is going to process of those images, let's say I have a Facebook, and on your Facebook you have a profile picture. You upload the profile picture, so all your profile pictures are uploaded into AWS S3. Okay, let's suppose that, and all your files goes to AWS S3. Let's suppose the user logs out and logs in again after changing a profile picture. Definitely the application wants to have a updated profile picture, and that updated profile picture has to come from the S3 bucket. That means application wants to access the images or the objects which has been uploaded to S3, and that application is publicly exposed. So definitely the URL of that object has to be publicly exposed so that the application can access it. Okay, so sometimes such type of situation come into the picture, and developers intentionally make their bucket public so that the buckets is being accessible. So from the point of security, what you have to see that the bucket if your bucket of your data is at risk, is sensitive data, then you have to make sure that the bucket is not public. Okay, so you see, go to a permission tab on the top. There's a permission tab. When you click on this, you see that block public access, right, which has been already on for everyone. Okay, but as sometimes the situations comes into a picture, people have to make this bucket public. Okay, so they made this bucket public intentionally or due to a situation, whatever it came up. So they made this bucket public. And how do they made it this public? Or maybe you have environment. One is called production environment, the other is your dev environment. So maybe the dev environment team wants to publicly open the bucket, but they have to be, there must be there have to be a very valid reason why they made that public. From the security point of view or the configuration thing, the very first check on storage on S3, you have to make sure from the compliance perspective that the buckets are not public. And how do they make it public is this: they click on add it. There's a button on the top, they click on add it on that. And then once they click the add it, there's a check mark, you see public all buckets. So they just uncheck it and save the changes. And it will give you the warning as well that this will make your content public, and people say, yeah, I understand that, and then confirm. Okay. So when that happens, that means the bucket is being publicly accessible. But will the attacker will be able to do anything? Bucket will be accessible publicly, but still the objects are not able to access publicly. Okay, and to confirm that, let's go back to the objects again. We made the bucket public, but let's go back to objects. Click on the object which we recently uploaded. Okay, and when we recently up we click on that, and you know that on there is a below we have an object URL. And when we click that, we actually open it in the form of you know in the form of anonymous. So when we click on this URL, we see that access denied again. That brings us the confidence that even the bucket is public, the objects inside the bucket is not public. Okay, so people, there are two things which are interconnected to each other. One thing is that if you want to make your objects publicly accessible, you have to make your bucket public first. Okay, so if there is an object in your bucket which you wanted to share with, or you wanted to share with anyone, or you wanted to share that file around the world to anyone, then you can make it public. But to make that public, you have to make sure that the bucket is public as well. Okay, so the object is not public yet, but when you click on the top, there is a button called make public. And when you click that make public, hold on, and you see that there's a success button came up. That means the bucket, now the object has been publicly accessible. So you click on the object URL again, and now as the object URL has been publicly accessible, when you click on it again, you will see that hello from 349 text. That means now this object is publicly accessible and people can access it. The bucket is public, the object is public. You are in a deep danger afterwards. Okay, even if the object is not public, right? If I made that public for now, and uh, this particular object is public, and if I click on make public, it's already been public now. Now if I go to sorry, if I go back on Sony demo 2, that's our bucket. Okay, and we made the object as public, right? We made that particular object as public. But when we go to our bucket again, we go to a permission again, and we go to block public access bucket setting. Okay,
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
and which is like block all public access is completely blocked for now. If I edit it, and I block all public access for now. I check the whole stuff. So I'm trying to do, it's still refreshing the page. So yeah, so if I check all that, it will be block access. And if I save the changes and it says confirm, I will say confirm it. Okay, now everything is blocked. Okay, now let's go back to objects again. Okay, when you're on the objects again, you click on the object again. Okay, and you see that option over here, make public option. It's been disabled, right? That means because it's been disabled, if you cannot make this object public until and unless you make your bucket policy of public settings to get turned off. Okay, so your bucket can have multiple files, all right, and then if you wanted to share one of your file, you have to make that public, and if that file has to become a public, you have to make sure that your bucket setting of public has to be turned off. Okay, so the bucket can have x amount of data, but if you wanted to share any one file or any one object to any one of your users, you cannot share that until and unless that bucket policy or that public bucket settings is turned on. Okay, so for that particular sense, for some particular scenarios where developer has a lot of data and they want to share it, share their one of the file with the users, they usually go to a permission and they turn off the public, they turn or they make their bucket public. Making a public bucket public is not an issue because your objects are not public yet. Okay, you are not making your objects public, so that's not a big issue, but from the compliance and security reason, we don't make buckets public. Okay, that is the first take you have to think. You have to think from the point of security. Okay, so make sure that if you are working as a cloud security engineer, this is the first compliance check. You will make sure that the buckets are not public. Okay, if they are public, there must be some valid reasons which will be provided by the development team or any other team that we wanted to access or share this file. That's why we made that this public. Completely can be understandable and can be adjusted. But one thing which we have to make sure is, like when you make that public buckets gets to turned off, then there in the properties, hold on, there's an option. This UI is completely new. Uh, they have made a change in this. When you go to permission, buckets is being uploaded. Yeah, over here you see that there's an access control list. And in the access control list, you have bucket owner who has a access of list and write, read and write. Okay. Sorry. So access control list plays a very important role. Okay. So over here you see that everyone authenticated user group, S3 group, login or something. Making the bucket public is not an issue until and unless your access control list is not public. Like if you click on edit. Okay, if you click on edit.
Vasant, I have one question.
And for,
Sorry to
yeah, yeah.
So, in the real-time scenario, whatever the objects we are, creating in the S3 bucket, should be accessed from another instance, such as EC2 instances, right? Like the at the end user are accessing the application. Let's say an application, whereas the application want
Mm-hmm.
to access, objects in the S3 bucket.
Mm-hmm.
So how it is fetching the data? I mean, how the privileges inside it should be given.
Okay, so if suppose I have an application running on EC2 instances and
Yeah,
my application wants to access the data which is on S3, okay,
yeah. But
right?
as you said that the S3 bucket is not publicly accessible.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. As you have made your bucket not public, what you can do is over here. Let me explain that. What you can do to achieve this particular scenario is that let's say you have this EC2 instance and this is your bucket. Okay, so if you have a bucket like this where you have your content is available, and you wanted to access the bucket, and our application is running on EC2, you wanted to access an object inside a bucket, then what you have to do is you have to bring one
I'm
role
sorry.
over here.
I'm sorry. One second. So the first square box, the rectangle box, the left side is the end user. Okay, is the end user
Yeah,
accessing from the application in the internet. Okay. So first, is call go to EC2 internally. Am I right?
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.